But here we get into the action, okay? A little background about me, so you're not just listening to a guy who's like, it's like, you're like, who? Does this guy have any idea what he's talking about? So, my name's Jared. I've been coding for half my life, pretty much. Since I was like in middle school, I was learning how to code. I've been building stuff through high school, going to hackathons, internships in high school. Been a full-time engineer, whether it's working on my own thing or working at various companies since I was 18. Worked at Shapeways, the New York Times, and overall have been coding the whole time. And the way I've been making money to support myself in between things and also to drive my current business, I'm actually doing this now, has been through Freelance. And if there's anything I know, it's how to make money after teaching yourself how to code. So I have this sort of three main tenets that people don't understand when it comes to getting a job from nothing. Three main things that you need to do. This is the first thing. And I'm not just going to tell you to go network, and because that's obvious, right? I'm actually going to break it down and why you don't do it. Because the main thing, and I'm just going to keep this up here the whole time, the main thing people get wrong is they think they're just coders, when in reality, they're starting a business. So what I mean by that, let's bold this. So the thing that people don't understand is when you're going off to, you taught yourself how to code, you're teaching yourself, you're doing React tutorials, you're hustling, you're doing great and all this, and you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I can just go out and start getting a job. But you don't know the means of doing that. When you're going from nothing, you have no credentials, you have to understand you have to be you're starting an enterprise. And the reason why that's important is don't see yourself as just going out and like trying to get clients in a way where you're just like, and I never did this, where it's just like, you're just like, oh, like, I'm going to go out and just like put my resume out there and that's it. No, you have to be selling yourself as a institution that's going to provide a lot of value to these businesses. And that doesn't even need to be making a website and getting an LLC and all that. I mean, that stuff is important, but it needs to be how you approach these three things. Just keeping in mind that you're starting a business. Okay, but there's three things to this pie. Networking is the first thing. So the reason why networking is huge is because the networking aspect of this is what's going to separate you from your competition. So the way I looked at it was I had to be in front of people more often than especially when you're super young, you have to be in front of people more often than other people. For the networking part, you have to be putting your face out there. You have to be hunting down the tech events in your area. You want to be known as like an engineer that goes to these places, not like in a bad place, in a bad way where it's like you're annoying, but you have to be sort of it's a good way of putting this. You have to be hyper aware of the scene, the tech scene that's happening around you, of the startups that are happening around you. Go to hackathons. And hold on. Get business cards. I know it's like super basic stuff, but like this stuff really matters. So like even go to happy hours. So like I know happy hours suck. I hate it. But it's you should be getting more uncomfortable socially, because if you're an engineer, you're most likely in a situation where you're not used to doing a lot of things socially. And understand, if you get to a situation where you want to freelance, so you want to be free, you want to be getting a lot of clients and work on your own, you have to be able to be flipping that. Whatever it is that's making you not socialize, you need to flip that, and you have to become a salesman to some extent. Not in like a crappy way, but you have to realize that you're starting a business, and every business needs a sales division. You're the sales division. But yeah, so like networking's huge. Like, go to hackathons. Hackathons are huge. If there's any, and there still happen, so if there's any hackathon, you should definitely 100% go there, because your businesses are seeing you working in person. And there's online hackathons. Look up devpost.com if you want to see a hackathon. And the reason why I'm saying this is very, very important. There's two more things here that are also important, but this is like one of the most important things. So like, and I'll get back to it, but real quick, I do want to get into the second part here, which is very important, because a lot of people are doing this right now, but they're missing the mark a lot. So like portfolio. Portfolio is the second most important thing. So like, when I think of portfolio, I think of you're always building as you're learning. Like, I'm still learning right now, and it's been over a decade. But you're always building, and you're always learning new concepts. And as you learn new concepts, you should be writing the story of the things that you're learning. It's a part of, as a self-taught person with no degree. I don't have a degree. I don't have anything, and yet I've had these experiences, and partly is because I've been able to express and communicate a lot of what I understand. And the best way to communicate what you understand is to document your code really well and to write really good readmes. Your readmes should have they should be kind of like, how should I say? You should talk through the struggles that you went through in your readme, 100%. So that's a big thing. And when you're making a portfolio, make a website that looks nice to present the portfolio. And you should write about each of these things. So actually, let me get into the third part here. I'm going to briefly go over everything, and then we're going to do more. Oh, I just realized I'm covering this one. It's fine. It's not that important. But okay, but here we want to have network, portfolio, and focus. Okay? For anyone who has OCD, I'm sorry. So, focus is a big thing. I would say focus might be the most important thing. It's arguably the most. I'm saying networking is the most. But what I see a lot of people not doing is because I've been mentoring people this past year a lot, and getting a job and breaking into tech and getting freelance work and all that. And the main thing that I see, and the people that are already trying hard, like a lot of people just don't try hard. But for a lot of people that try hard, is that they don't gain expertise over time. And that's super important. So like the expertise part is like crazy important. You have to be gaining you have to be, with everything you do, getting closer to an end. So every project you build, you're supposed to be getting closer to an end of expertise that will get you to a point of being an expert in, whether it's Python, like you're doing Python, Postgres, whatever. And one of the best ways to do that is to pick a language and go. Wait, and just go. I'm not telling you to pick Go, by the way. It sounds like I'm telling you to pick Go. But pick a language and just go. So like, what I mean by that is, let's say you're learning Python. A lot of people will learn Python and they'll learn Flask or Django, and then they'll get into React and they'll get into full stack and they'll get into all this. They'll get into JavaScript, and then they'll try to learn Go because they felt like Go is a good thing to learn, and then they'll spend 2 years doing Go, and then they'll go into, it's like, you'll never. One of the main drawbacks you have of being self-taught is that you do need to be better on a technical level than people expect you to be, and you need to be far better than the other you need to be able to prove yourself a lot more than other people. I'll put it like that. And I'm going to get back to focus, but I want to go back to the network part because that's huge. The network part's huge. So one of the main ways I get freelance contracts is through my network. I've been building a network for years. You know, like I will like our hero in this scenario. Let's say it's you, and you're like, hey, I don't know any, because there's a lot of people that are like, I literally don't know anybody in tech. Like, you're gonna have to be going to, and there's tech events in every major city. So if you live near a major city, there's tech events. I know there is. And you need to contact people. You know what's a good thing to do? Find a mentor. Okay, like, that's a really smart thing to do. Like, contact someone that you respect on LinkedIn or on GitHub. I mean, you can't contact them on GitHub, but you know what I mean. Like, if you find someone on GitHub who made something cool, email them. You know, like, find someone that you respect and try to get feedback from them and try to get direction from them and learn from them. You know who that person is? They're a part of your network. You'd be surprised how many opportunities you're going to get because someone just decided to, this person that I mentor just needs a job, and they just told me I'm going to, like, refer them to something. So this part's big. You have to, like, you're starting a business. That's so important. So, like, I'm going to put this one up here because it's not up here. Let's see. Hold on a sec. So this one's huge right here. So, like, go to hackathons, do all that, pick a language and just go. So, like, that's the big thing with network. So you can find a mentor. So, like, mentors and events. That's the main thing here. It's not even that crazy. It's the main thing, mentors and events. It's a little sub note right here. It's the main thing. It's the main thing that matters. I just opened up a browser. But yeah. That's the main thing with this. It's not even that crazy. Events, you should be going to a lot of events because when you go, the more events you go to, the more you'll also be communicating with engineers. And understand, if you're self-taught and you don't have a network, this really is just for people who don't have a network. When I say self-taught, what I mean is you don't have a network. Like, it doesn't have to be exclusive like that, but that's often the case because really when people see that you have a college degree, they're seeing some type of social backing of you, of like, okay, you were in this environment and you were trained and that college approves of you. Like, you're getting your college's network, what to say. It's a power thing, right? But you know, obviously you can have a network and be self-taught. I'm just saying, speaking in generalities here. So another thing with the network part is don't be afraid to listen. Like I think a lot of people in the engineering world are often, you don't know how much you can learn by simply going on, like I promise you do this because you'd be surprised, but go to Hacker News, and if you see someone post a project they made, you see someone reply in a comment and they sound smart, message them, comment, and be like, hey, like, can you talk to me about this? Like, can you teach me a little bit about this? You seem really knowledgeable. Like, you see someone on LinkedIn, you see someone on GitHub, like, find a way to contact. Maybe they have their email up, I don't know, but try to contact them and be like, hey, like, you seem pretty knowledgeable about this. Maybe let's connect, and then that's a really good way to expand. And imagine you do that 10 times. For me, the best way for me was, I already sort of had a lot of network from starting a coding club in high school, and I had people there, but they weren't people that had jobs, right? Those were other teenagers. The thing that really got me a greater network was cold emailing startups. Constantly cold emailing startups. What I mean is be like, oh, I'm learning, like learn about, look at their job post. This is a great way to email a company. Look at their job posting, look at the technology they have, and then tell a story on how you're learning that, and how you're working on this problem, and just talk to them about it and be like, hey, I think I'd be a good intern, or I think I would actually fit. And do this for a junior or intern role. Don't do this for like a senior dev role, because they'd be like, what? But like, if you more so engage in that type of thing, then you'll be able to, like, really be able to show that you are able to communicate. And that's one of the biggest things when it comes to convincing this company to sort of give you a chance when you're self-taught and you don't have any resume, right? Why is portfolio so important? You have to always be building stuff. Always be building things. Let's take a situation where you're like a full stack engineer, and you want to, and meaning like you do front end and back end. We'll get into the focus part, but you should always be building stuff, posting on GitHub, posting it on Hacker News, trying to talk to people. Don't just like work in silo. When you're working on portfolio, think about it as every single portfolio item, you have to be getting better, and you have to be talking to like at least 5 people that are smarter than you about it. That's what I did. I'd build these projects like every weekend when I was like a teenager, and this is what a lot of people do. A lot of people that have been getting these jobs and doing this for years and years, and now are still, like, since they're teenagers, still in their 20s, and they're getting a lot of these opportunities because this is what they did, which is what I did. Like, I wanted to be able to build, this is like 10 years ago, so it was like Facebook. I wanted to be able to build Facebook. I had a greater idea of what I could possibly build, where I was like, one day I want to be able to build Facebook. And then I learned all the things I needed to do that. I learned PHP, MySQL, blah, blah, blah. And I learned all these concepts, and that opened up the world of ideas I could think about because I knew all these concepts. And then I learned WebSockets, so I was doing live streaming stuff and extensions and mobile stuff, and like every new avenue opened up the ideas. So you should try to get a greater level of competency and go in that direction, and you'll land on ideas. Just the more work you do, and this goes to a lot of things in life, the more work you do, the more your brain starts working. You need to, this is what I would do if I really wanted to get as good enough to get contracts as fast as possible. I'd pick a language. I'd pick Python, Go. I get really good at just coding in that language. And then after that, I'd learn a web framework. So I learned like Flask or Django. I learned not just the how to do on the web framework, I'd learn about the concepts. I learned about how cookies work, about how sessions work, how HTTP works, everything that happens when your browser from DNS the to IP to NAT traversal, everything, to what's happening on the server, to reverse proxies. You learn everything, but you do it through the guise of Python. Just looking for a Discord. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna head out. It's nice. It was nice talking. I'm gonna make the Discord tonight. All right. See ya.